3 miles, 7:32. Took it light today. It's July 2025, and it's been 5 years that I've been consistently running. In this video, I'm gonna go through some of the lessons that I've learned about myself, my environment, and the things that I believe I can achieve simply by adding running into my life back in 2020. Before I jump into that, one of the things I wanna look back on is why I wasn't running in the first place, and maybe connect the dots for some other people out there that potentially might have felt like I did before 2020, and potentially convince them to switch their minds, start running, and improve their life. It wasn't like I grew up and was never running. I was a 4-sport athlete, and the reality was sports were my sanctuary. I absolutely loved them. I was obsessed with them. Every morning I woke up, watched ESPN, went to school, came home, watched ESPN, and when I wasn't playing sports, I was thinking about sports. But running was always a means to an end. If I was running, it was to score a goal. If I was running, it was to steal a base. If I was running, it was to add value to my team so that we could potentially win. Outside of the arena, the field, the court, I never ran. It was never something that interested me. And when I reflect back on my life, I now have a much better understanding as to why that was the case. See, I was born into a family of short and diminutive people. That trait carried over to me. I wasn't even 100 pounds going into high school. It was emasculating at times. I didn't wear men's clothing until college, so all the way through high school, I was wearing the biggest size of boys' clothing because I was so skinny. And if I were to analyze why I didn't run, that was one of the reasons, because running was associated with helping people lose weight and get skinnier, and I already felt not like a man. So therefore, the more I would run, the more that I would feel like I was becoming lesser of what I was put on this earth to be. So I never did it, even though it was highly recommended that we practiced running and cardio and then our endurance going into each and every season. It was never something that I focused on, purely because I thought it would make me lesser than. Now I know it could have helped me in so many different ways if I would have just taken a step back and understood how to add it into my life in a way that was comfortable to me and progressed in the way that would allow me to maintain my mental health and physical health in the way that I foresaw myself. If you were to put yourself in my shoes, the whole time you'd be thinking about how can I get bigger and stronger, not how can I do things that potentially could make me skinnier than I already was. So I didn't focus on running whatsoever. It was something that just took the back seat, and the only time I would do it is when I was playing sports. Let's end that story, because running is now integrated into my life, and I want to explain what caused me to shift into making it a routine thing. I focused heavily on working out in the gym, compound lifts, getting stronger, getting bigger. And from the time I entered college until the time I left, I put on about 35 pounds and felt a lot better in my own skin. I know a lot of other men out there that have done the same. And I think this is something that a lot of people do to heal some of the trauma that they went through in their childhood. I know that's the case for me. I mentioned I was diminutive, so I felt at times powerless in terms of when I would get bullied or certain situations, and I didn't like that, especially as I was getting older and becoming a man and thinking about what a man was. I didn't want to feel powerless, so I entered the gym. I spent years there. It paid off, but I didn't realize that even though I looked fit, I wasn't fit. And anybody that understands what I just said, you probably have gone through the same transition. You can look a certain way, but that doesn't mean that you're fit and healthy. And that's exactly what happened in my life. And I'll go on to explain how I figured that out. Back in 2020, my friend invited me to do my first HYROX. February 2020, in Dallas, Texas. I signed up on a whim. I had no idea what it was. I didn't look into any of the movements. I didn't know how much we had to run. I just drove up there with him and decided to wing it. And on the course that day, I pretty much died and became a new version of myself. So I look at myself as a phoenix, and that moment of time was one that I had to burn myself to the ground into ashes and become something new. When I was running laps or walking laps, because that's really what happened that first time in HYROX, I walked several laps. I think like my slowest time around was 9 minutes, which is absolutely horrendous. I finished that race in an hour and I believe 44 minutes, which is very bad. And I say that because I want to give other people hope that consistency can change your life. That moment of time when I was out there, I was strong in my mind and my body. I was fit. And within 30 minutes, I realized I was not that strong in my mind or my body, and I was not fit whatsoever. There were people that I threw judgment on the course that were kicking my ass. And I felt emasculated again. I felt like that little kid, and it woke up something in me. And I realized that from that moment moving forward, I needed to change. And some of the things that led to was me reflecting on why did I feel that way in those moments? And really it came down to, if I couldn't finish that race and feel strong in that race, then I was gonna have chinks in my armor in everyday life. I wasn't going to be able to thrive on life the way that I wanted to, whether it was climbing mountains with my family one day, whether it was running a marathon with my wife one day, whether it was going on hikes and bikes and races and playing sports and coaching sports with my kids. I realized really quickly that I would not have the stamina unless I changed the course of my life. And that's where that first HYROX really set into motion the fire to start to run and integrate it into my life. Now, I know what you're gonna say. If you were afraid of running prior because you're gonna get skinnier, were you still afraid to integrate it into your life after you'd already gained the weight, felt strong? Was that a fear of yours, CJ? And the answer is a resounding yes. I didn't integrate running into my life prior to that because I still had trauma that I was facing around losing weight. If I were to begin running, I didn't want to lose weight. And it's funny because not only have I held my weight, I actually look better now and am stronger now than I was before I started running. But that's because I learned a couple tips along the way. I started realizing that calories in and calories out is something that I could control, meaning if I were to go on a run, I could consume the calories that I spent during that run and I wouldn't lose my weight. So instead of having this fictitious fear, I decided to control my controllables and focus on my nutritional intake. The second aspect of this is I didn't try to go from 0 to 100 real quick, as the song goes. All I said was, I'm gonna start running 1 mile a day, and then 2 miles a day, and then 3 miles a day. And for the first 6 months, so in July of 2020, I started running 1 mile a day. For 6 months until December, I didn't run more than 3 miles in a day. The third aspect of that is I wasn't going out there to crush myself. I was going out there just to create the habit. And when we do that, if I were to position running to you, hey, just go out, put your running shoes on and just start running, throw a podcast in, throw some music in, and just go run for 10 to 20 minutes. Don't focus on speed, don't focus on time, just go do it. Run a loop around the block, grab a friend. Now do it consistently. If I were to pose that to you, it's a much easier task to get done than like, hey, go run as fast as you can for 25 minutes. And that's what I always thought running was. I thought I had to lace up and I thought I had to compete every single time, when the reality is that's not the truth. So with those three things, I started my journey on integrating running into my everyday life. A couple miles at a time, zone 2, zone 3 pace, and focusing on my nutrition and making sure that I would maintain my strength and my weight. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast is what I like to say, and that's exactly how I approached running when I first started in 2020. Point and shoot videos tend to get boring to me, so I'm gonna wrap this one up while walking, get some extra steps in. I integrated running into my life and I focused on the three areas that I mentioned. But what has that led to? When I think about the most important thing that running has allowed me to do, it's to be a better husband, father, friend, community member, leader, a better person. It's forced me to analyze areas of my life that I didn't show up in the ways that I wanted to, and change habits over time to become a better version of myself. And anybody that has a running routine completely understands what I am saying. However, my goal is to potentially get another man out there to change his course right now and to add running into his life. And telling you that you're going to become a better person if you add running isn't really the motivating factor or the thing that I believe is going to change that habit. Usually it's aesthetics, usually it's some type of challenge or commitment or achievement that you could create and then achieve on the back end, get that result. Morning. Usually it's something that you could work towards that's specific and tangible. If you're here watching this, you want to become a better person, and that's something that I think all of us can agree upon exercise does. But if you don't add a personal goal into your life that's tangible, that running can help you get to, it's hard to consistently show up and create that habit over time. So I'm going to tell you what my goal was and how I consistently was able to show up over time. Good morning. The goal that I had put in my mind was that I wanted to run with my wife and our future family on the weekends. I told myself that I wanted to become fit enough where we could run on the weekends as a family, enjoy ourselves, and I could still show up as a great father and husband. And that specific tangible goal in my mind helped me to show up in the times that I didn't want to show up. The second part of that is I put in my mind that I wanted to climb mountains with my family. I wanted to be able to put my son or daughter on my back and climb up mountains with them. And the only way that I was going to be able to do that is if I got fit enough. And to get fit enough, I had to increase my endurance. And one of the great ways to increase your endurance is to just put some shoes on and run around the block. That's exactly what I did. So what's your goal? What is that goal of yours that if you increased your endurance, it would allow you to thrive on life in a better way? Does it have to deal with your family, your friends, your community, your business? If you're an entrepreneur, you know that endurance on the trail, the track, the mountain, it parlays into endurance in the boardroom and in the startup that you're in. It all is connected. That was another area of my life where I actively thought about running is going to help me be a better entrepreneur. It's going to help me endure all the ups and the downs that my daily life brings me in terms of business. Running is the same way. In the same run, sometimes you're going to feel very high. Sometimes you're going to feel very low. Sometimes you're not going to feel much at all. You're just going to be in the zone, in flow state. There's all these ups and downs. That's life in general. Anybody that's a human on this earth understands that. And running can help you with that. It can help you endure the challenges that you face on a daily basis. It could help you understand more of yourself and how you're showing up, the habits that you showcase to the world in the worst moments of your life. You can change those habits. And purely by just putting some shoes on and running around your neighborhood, going to a lake, going to somewhere where you enjoy. If you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to become a version of yourself that 5 years from now is going to look back and say, thank God that I chose to do that. And that's exactly what I'm sitting here telling you right now when I think back 5 years to that HYROX in 2020, and I got my ass absolutely handed to me. I had to literally just go to bed afterwards. It was so bad. Today, I could not only run that HYROX 45 minutes faster, pretty much, I could go on with my day and play with my son and hang out with my friends and do all the things that I enjoy doing after I completed the HYROX. I know this because I've done it. I'm probably at I'm over 15 races now. It started a bug within myself into the community here in Austin and across the world, and I love it. I'm gonna end this video with a couple quick things that these 5 years have also allowed me to experience. That HYROX, which then led me to analyzing myself on why I didn't run and starting to integrate running into my life, eventually led me to running an ultra with one of my best friends, Jeff. I grew up with him, and we ran an ultra in North Carolina. It was one of the coolest things that I've ever done. I have run from LA to San Diego in a relay race for Roan. This was with a group of 6+ people, most of which I didn't know until that day. We created a bond on that run. It was such a cool experience. I've done an overnight ruck where we put 30 pounds on my back and we did a marathon ruck overnight. I have run in multiple marathons where I've pushed disabled athletes. I've gone for numerous runs on the trail with friends just to catch up. I've run up and down mountains, put my son on my back, climbed a mountain in Zion. There's so many things that I've done over the last 5 years that first, I never thought about even doing. And then second, I didn't really think I was the type of person that was going to be able to achieve them and not just do them and finish them, but do them well. The cool part is now I continue to run, not because it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's still something that takes a lot of discipline from me to do on a daily basis. But because I have completed these life experiences and I know that the running has helped me complete them, I want to continue to stack those experiences over the course of my life. And that's really what I want for other people, is these experiences that are once in a lifetime. And when you think back, if you were to ask your 85-year-old self, what do you regret? It's not going to be, I regret that I wasn't working more or harder. It's going to be that I didn't have all the experiences that I wanted to have while I had the opportunity to do so. And that's what running is going to allow for you. You're going to be able to do some incredible things that right now, maybe you're questioning yourself. I don't know how I'm going to do that during my lifetime. I'm not fit enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable enough. But that's not the truth. All you have to do is start believing, and then you have to wake up each and every day and take one step, and then another step, and then another step. Focus on that first step, and I guarantee you that you're gonna add some incredible experiences to your life. When you do, please feel free to connect with me and let me know what some of those experiences are. Until next time, drive on, y'all.